Ladies and gentlemen, it broke. Now, in my credit, well, my fault. I driving down the highway. CV shaft just completely blows apart. Now, lucky for you, I've already fixed this before. And now I get to show you how to fix the CV shaft on an 05 Ram 1500. Alright, first things first, gotta get rid of the wheel. Now, it is currently 6:30 in the morning. And I could be an absolute of a neighbor and use a 1/2 inch impact to rattle this thing off. But seeing that I just moved, I'd probably like them to like me for once. The last ones didn't, and I'm gonna try and do the right thing. So I'm gonna blow my back out trying to take this thing off. Oh. Uh-oh. These are... Uh-oh. Alright, so, slight problem. I mean, not that it was a problem, but, I don't know if you can see how easy these are coming off. They really shouldn't come off that easy, which is... I was driving on this. That's concerning. Yeah. Now, the safe thing to do is to put jack stands underneath your vehicle when you're working on it. So when your jack inevitably gives out, you don't die. I don't own a jack stand. But I do have a tire I just took off with steel rims. So, jack stand installed. Alright, so it's at this point where normally there's a nut right there. And it is a 36 millimeter socket. Deep well, not shallow. Don't ask me how I know. But since that's not there, we can go ahead and get on with moving all of this out of the way so we can get the CV axle slid in there. And the whole reason we're even replacing the CV axle is on the shaft side of the differential for this type of truck, there's these little snap rings that holds the CV axle in place. It broke. So, because that little piece of metal broke, I get to replace the whole CV axle. Alright, so I'm an idiot. I didn't check to make sure that it was actually recording. Anyways, we got our upper control arm spindle nut off. I also took off the nut for the spindle on your steering, which those are both 21s. And now we're going to use a pickle fork. Try and pop them spindles off. Now you can use a hammer and just try and beat them up. But in my experience, it's way more harder and more work than what it's worth. So go down to a parts store of your choice, preferably O'Reilly's, because everywhere else always pisses me off. Get a pickle fork. Actually get 3 of them because they come in different sizes. You want a good range of them. But now I get to find the biggest hammer I can find. I'm just kidding. My little mallet. And we'll get our pickle fork right on in there. And hopefully we won't mess up this boot too bad. And just like that, our upper control arm can come out. Now we just got to do the same thing with our steering rack though. Well, our steering spindle. Actually, that's going to be a much smaller spindle, so I don't think that's going to work. So, whenever you decide to beat on something with threads, I recommend you take your nut and screw it back on there a couple threads. That way you're not sitting there taking a hammer to your threads and just marring them up. That nut can take most of that impact, kind of disperse that load. I said nut, load, and a lot of other innuendos there, didn't I? Don't be childish. And just like that, steering rack's out of the way. Our upper control arm's off. But with any luck, we should just be able to slide that new CV axle right into its home. Alright, so I was talking about when that snap ring failed. There's a snap ring that goes here, and I just took it off, and it just worn down, and the splines came off. Now, when you do end up replacing your CV shaft, you should always look at your splines here. These are pretty bad. I should probably replace this shaft, but I didn't buy a shaft, so I ain't gonna. But now all we gotta do is get this new snap ring on there, and we can slide our CV shaft on. Our new CV axle right on in here. A wee bit of tight fit. We might have to go in from this way. All right. Ah, shoot. Now, we might be able to just we'll kind of move this back into where it's supposed to be for right now, just so I can hammer on it, try and get that snap ring to engage. All right. Snap ring feels engaged. Got a couple extra love taps, just to be sure. I'll shake it around. Yeah, that feels good. Now we'll just do everything we just did in the reverse order. So, first of all, everything here has a torque spec, and I have a torque wrench. I will not be torquing these. Why? I don't like myself. The real funny part is, I'm probably going to edit most of what just happened out. Because, why not? In my channel, I can do whatever I want on my channel. Alright, so the hope with that, we have enough pressure downwards on that spindle that it ain't going nowhere. If it works, I'll be shocked. And just like that, that's an easy way to install a spindle that doesn't want to stay still. As long as you keep downward pressure on it, it don't got nowhere it can go. But now all that's left is to find where I left the axle nut. It's across the shop. Install our axle nut. Alright, so I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is the nut that came with the new CV shaft. I don't like it, because here's the old one. Now, you should probably not reuse it if it comes with a new one. But I like the old one. It's going to work better. Now, you're going to run into this problem as soon as you try and tighten this down. Your axle is going to start to spin. So, you place a pry bar right there. If you're smart, just screw in some lug nuts so you don't completely biff up your threads. Alright, we'll place our pry bar right there. Now, it'll take pressure against it, and we are free to tighten down our axle nut. Yes, I'm well aware they make ratcheting half-inch wrenches. Yes, I own one. Do I know where it's at? Nope. Sure don't. It probably look great on camera, huh? Alright, now, time for your torque spec, which is, I don't know, all of it. However much feels like too much and then some. Or until your wrench starts slipping and you feel like punching the concrete. There you go. One freshly installed CV axle. Make sure we grab all of our tools and place them somewhere that we're gonna lose them. Move y'all back over here. And now that it is currently, is it 8 o'clock yet? Just about. Just about. Now you might be wondering, Dylan, is it safe to not actually have shit properly torqued down? And to that I say, oh. If you want to go and torque stuff down and do it the right way, by all means. It's probably better. But am I gonna do that unless I'm working on like an engine? Nope. Why, you might ask? I don't wanna. It's a lot of work. At the 21. That's the 21. We don't want the 21. Now I could tell you the proper size for the socket for the wheels, but I don't know it because these used to have chrome on them, and I removed all that by hand. So currently, the 21. Now, anyways, enjoy the music while I, make some loud noises. Carefully let the truck down now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is how you replace a CV axle on an 05 Ram 1500. If you liked it, give it a follow. You can follow my TikTok, my YouTube. Heck, there's a Facebook out there somewhere. Y'all have a good one.